Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions. Tristan Almada, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. I'm super excited about our time together. As we talked about before we hit record, everybody has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. So with your permission, we're going to start with where you were born and go all the way up to today. And then we want to talk about anything that you're working on today and for tomorrow, because I know you've got some stuff you're launching, and I'm super excited to talk with you about it.
Dude, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be cool. We're going to have a great time.
It is going to be great.
So where were you born?
I was born in Pacoima, California.
There you go.
Not San Fernando Valley, for those of you who don't know, which is part of
exactly where it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So east of LA, right? For people that don't know. So
Yeah.
So did you grow up in Pacoima?
I was born there and then grew up in Simi Valley, California, and the San Fernando Valley, North Hollywood. That's where I grew up. Yeah. And then we just moved from North Hollywood to Van Nuys to Reseda, where the Karate Kid grew up. That's where I grew up. Northridge, went to Cal State Northridge. And then right after, my parents decided to move to Ventura County, and I ended up in Ventura County, and that's where I'm at today.
There. It's beautiful in Ventura County. So what was your favorite thing about growing up there?
My favorite thing was that everything was so close, man. I grew up at a time where I could pick up a bike, a skateboard, or rollerblades. Rollerblades were newer when I was growing up. Put those on and then just started going to like the local comic store, See's Candy, whatever, man. It was just cool going to 7-Eleven and getting Slurpees, playing in the arcade games. It's, we grew up in an era where we can go and chill with the kids and chase the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Play down the street, go in abandoned houses. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's where I grew up.
And you had to be home before dark, right? Because dinner was ready. Yeah.
Yep. That was it.
So growing up, who was the most influential person to you?
My mom, hands down.
Okay.
My mom, hands down. She was the most influential. She was, so my parents didn't get divorced until I was a full adult, like I was married already. But there was a lot of ups and downs with marriage. My dad was an alcoholic, so when I was very small, we'd have to go in a car, my mom and me, and somebody who would drive us to go find him at a bar. Or, hey, why aren't you home in 2 days? What the hell's going on? And there's no cell phones, man. There's you got to kind of figure out where he's at.
Yeah.
So some places we drive far to get to, but I'd watch my mom struggle through that, and then also decide to finally start her own business while going through that and saying, you know what, this is too much. I'm going to take control over what I can and start a jewelry business, and just go into downtown and find the right shops and then connect it to the people that I know. And so I watched that growing up, and I was like, this is cool, right? I can do this.
What a great example.
That's very, very inspiring.
Yeah, for sure. So in high school, where'd you go to high school?
I went to a private high school in Pasadena called Imperial High School, or Imperial Schools, because it was all in one.
Yeah. So did you have a favorite subject in high school?
I did, man. It was PE, physical ed. It wasn't math or anything. I hated school a lot.
Mine too.
I was terrible at it.
I
That
was
was
that
great.
kid. I was that kid that sat in class and looked out the window the whole time.
I doodled. I was like, I'll doodle. And then I'd wonder why I sucked at math.
Yeah. So I'm listening to the book. I'm listening to the life story of Elon Musk. The biography is written by Walter Isaacson.
Great book.
Right.
Great book. I
So
finished
I'm
it.
listening to it, and they're talking about the parent-teacher conferences that they used to have with Elon's teachers. And,
Yep.
and they're like telling him the exact same thing they said to my parents. I'm like literally feeling sorry for my parents all over again, you know.
Dude,
Anyway,
I know.
crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
That's a
So
fun one.
why did you pick Cal State Northridge to go to school?
Well, I was ready. So I was graduating. And right when I was graduating from the high school I was in, it's a Christian high school I went to.
Mhm.
And I was going to go to that same Christian college out in Texas.
Okay.
I had already been accepted, and then the church and the whole high school and that whole business fell apart.
Oh,
And I was like, I had no place to go, and I was like,
right.
"Hey, mom, I'm going to not go to college this
Yeah.
year. I'm just gonna just chill, right? I've been doing some telemarketing jobs in the summer. I'm really good at telemarketing."
Mhm.
And she's like, "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
So she
Good idea. No.
yeah, she submitted an application to Cal State Northridge without me knowing, and
Oh,
she just took me to orientation and said, "This is where you're going."
go
I know.
mom. I love this woman, man.
Oh, that was awesome.
This
Yeah,
is
there you
so
go.
cool. You had
That's
the
how I ended
best
up going to
mom.
college.
You had the best mom. You really
I
did.
did. I
So
did.
did mom help you pick your major?
She did. She's like, "You're gonna be a doctor, okay? Just here you
I
go.
love this.
Biology." I
Oh,
was like,
she's so cool.
"It's pretty
She's so
good."
cool. So what did you get your degree in?
History.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course.
I
I was like, "Biology?
bet that was an
Okay,
interesting
okay."
conversation. Hey, mom.
It was not easy.
Oh
So funny.
my God.
Oh, it wasn't easy. It was history.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when that happened. You know,
Yeah, that was not good.
remember you wrote me in for biology, right? We're going
Yeah.
history, mom.
I had problems with chemistry, man. I had problems with chemistry. It was not easy.
Well,
Yeah.
according to my teachers and Elon's teachers, if we applied ourselves, we'd have been fine in chemistry, right?
Dude.
All we had to do was apply ourselves and not be so focused on outside. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, so you graduate from Cal State Northridge. Then where do you go?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Something happened
Uh-oh.
in college.
Uh-oh.
There's a few things that happened. The big one was first year in, I meet this amazing girl,
Uh-huh.
and I ended up getting married.
And you knock over the microphone all the same
Over the
time.
same month. I was like, so I meet this girl in college, in the college I didn't want to go to,
Yeah. The
and
backup plan, right?
I tell my mom, and she's like, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen," and it happened.
This is a theme, man. This is a recurring theme.
I know. And I ended up marrying. We met and then got married like literally 3 months later. And my parents obviously didn't like that. They hated it. But we're still married 27 years later, dude.
It's awesome, dude.
Um,
Congratulations.
so that was fun. So then that changed my trajectory to going from, do I want to go into medicine or do I want to do something else? So I graduated with a history degree and I went to law school, but I
Oh.
also did real estate. And I was like, man, real estate's so great.
Mhm.
Uh, and that was 2004. So
Yeah.
everything was great in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely nothing was not great in real
Yeah,
estate.
everything. And that's when I got in.
Yeah.
So, and then it wasn't.
Right.
And then I was like, oh crap, I should have stuck to law school.
Right. I'd be a lawyer by now.
Yeah, I know. I know. So that's what I did right out of college. I literally uh it was May when I graduated and May when I got my license.
Yeah.
So I went door knocking for 6 hours the day I got my license. Suited up, tie, nice dress shoes in
There you go.
SoCal,
There you
summer, May, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never wearing a 3-piece suit again, door
Right.
knocking.
Right.
Yeah.
By the
But
time you got done, you looked like you'd been through the dryer, right?
dude, I had a little old lady, I was door knocking in Ventura County, right?
Mhm.
She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're sweating." She's like, "Come on in, I'll give you a glass of water." I'm like, "Whoa, this door knocking thing is awesome."
Right.
Right? She sat me in, told me stories about the neighborhood. I was
Yep.
like, I'm learning. I'm like, this is really cool.
That's our
Yeah.
camper. Yep.
That was it.
Yep. So that's your farm, right? And what you do is you take them their favorite tea, okay? And you hand them their favorite tea when you get to the door, and then you take your notepad with you. You
Mhm.
ask them what's the latest or what's happening, and then
Mhm.
3 hours later, they're done telling you all the updates. They'll tell you who's getting divorced. I'm not joking, man.
That's
You'll
great.
be 8 pages in. You'll be
That's a
8
great
pages in.
idea.
You don't have to say
Listen,
a thing. They
that
just
is how I learned
yeah.
the neighborhood.
Yeah,
If you
down the street. Yeah, down the street, 3 doors down. The police were here 3 nights ago, right? Don't say anything, but they're getting a divorce. They're gonna have to sell their house, right? I mean,
That's
they're worth their weight in gold, okay?
yeah.
So there's 2 types of sellers. There's climbers, which is what it sounds like, right? They buy a house, they hold on to it for a couple of years, they build up some equity, they sell it, buy the next one. They keep climbing up. The other is campers. What you're describing is a camper, and all you do is you go in and you just ask them what's the latest in the neighborhood, and they literally will give you the entire deal. So years ago, I think I told you years ago, I owned a Keller Williams office, and I had an
Mhm.
agent come to us from another big real estate company. And I said, "What do you want?" And she said, "I want to dominate my master plan community."
Mhm.
And literally the way we did it, there were some other things, but literally the way we did it was she went out, door knocked, and found the campers. One of them happened to be a retired broker, and she was snaking listings in that neighborhood from the guy that was the bona fide number one by far. In less than a year, we beat him. I'm not joking.
Campers.
Less than a
Campers.
year. And
Yeah.
it was campers. It was a neighborhood garage sale. That was a huge deal. Neighborhood
Yeah.
blood
Yep.
drive. We had the bloodmobile come.
Mhm.
I mean, it was so cool. It was just awesome.
That's cool, man. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I
So
like it a lot. I took note of that. Thank you.
yeah. So
Now I have a name for these amazing people.
see,
That's good, bro. Yeah, I think that's actually the key for even connecting with the community at any level. If we would just go canvas and say hello to everyone.
yeah. And you figure out, so all you do is ask, and it's a qualifying question, and all you're doing is asking them, so are you thinking about selling?
Mhm.
Right? Are you projecting when you might be moving? And what they'll say to you is, they're taking me out of here feet first. That's your camper,
Yeah, I love those. I'm
right?
gonna die in this home.
That's it. That's your camper.
I
And
love that.
they're like the little Baptist ladies in the Bible Belt with the binoculars that keep track of everybody and who's sleeping with who, right?
Those are the
Who's having
best.
an affair, and right? I mean, they're paying attention, baby.
Yeah. You know what, dude? Now that you mention it, those are the people that would pick up the phone and call me and be like, "Hey, I just want you to know, I just remembered that.
Yeah,
Just want you to know this happened over there. You might wanna go." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
that's so true.
It's like
Very
having
true."
an informant in law enforcement, right?
I know. You know which houses those are. Find your
Exactly.
campers. Dude,
Exactly.
this could
Right?
be a whole session.
Yeah.
Find your campers to grow your business.
Yep. And you find out what their favorite tea is, because they all have a favorite tea. They're typically older, right? They have a favorite tea, and you take it over and you drop it off, and you go, every couple of months, and you just hang out with them, and you budget 2 hours,
Dude,
because they will talk for 2 hours.
brilliant.
Unbelievable. And they love it, by the way. They love it, and they'll want you to come over more than every 2 months, because they love to tell somebody about everything that's going on in their neighborhood. Nobody else really cares.
Nobody can. Everyone's too busy
Well,
working, dude.
nobody, their kids don't care. Their kids moved away. They've got their own lives, the whole thing. And so they don't really have anybody to spill to. And they love having somebody that is going to actually use the information or the intel, if you will, right? They
Mm-hmm.
love that stuff, man.
I like
So,
this.
so you get into real estate,
Get into real estate, do amazing.
door
Like
knock in a
literally,
three-piece suit. I love that.
yeah, 3-piece suit overnight. It was well, practically overnight. 3 months in,
Yeah,
I do amazing. I get my first 3 checks 3 months later, all in the same day.
good
And
stuff.
I thought, I go, that's it. I'm rich. This is it. That's because I mean, I've never gotten that much money ever before, right? In Southern California, three
Right
checks
out
on
of
the same
college.
day.
Right out of
Right
college.
out of college. And I'm married at the time, so we're like, oh, we pay off everything we
Mhm.
owe. And then after that, soon after, well, we do really well for 2 years straight, 2004, 5, 6. I buy my own place, and then the market tanks.
Mhm.
And then when the market tank, it tanked,
It
dude.
just did.
And everything I was doing at the time was no longer working.
Yeah.
Door knocking wasn't working the same, cold calling, right? And so I pivoted over to online leads by chance. Somebody gave me a PDF and said, hey, look, there's this guy, Craig Proctor. He's saying go on Craigslist and do this stuff, but I
Right.
don't understand it. You do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know Craigslist. I'll do it.
Mhm.
Did it. It worked. And I was like, holy cow, this thing works. So I did more of it.
Yeah.
And then I did more of it until I started getting banned on Craigslist. So I had
Right.
to get a whole bunch of different emails. And that led to me understanding the online world much faster. And so then I started doing SEO, Google ads at the towards the beginning of it. And then when realtor.com called me and said, hey, we've got this cool thing where we can give you these zip codes from everyone that inquires. I'm like, oh, it's like Craigslist.
Mhm.
I'm like, how much is the whole county of Ventura?
Mhm.
And they're like, and then they calculated it was some ridiculous price, low price, because they didn't know what they had. I'm
Right.
like, I'll take the whole county.
Yeah.
And so that changed my business. That one thing dramatically changed my business.
Unreal. That is so cool.
Yeah, dude. Because then we started doing really well with those online leads coming through.
Mhm.
And we started piecing together things that I learned at telemarketing, right? I brought in, I'm like, hey, I think I need somebody to call these leads because they're coming in too fast. I need to create a little telemarketing thing here, right? But
Mhm.
just from the incoming leads. And so I created systems, processes, brought in tech. And then as I pieced it together, it started working really well
Mhm.
to the point that realtor.com's like, hey, you keep on buying more areas and you seem to be doing well. Can we put you on camera so you can explain what you're doing? And I said, yeah, sure. So they put me on camera. They send it over to their execs. Their exec love it. I
Mhm.
get a call saying, hey, can you speak at our NAR event that we're having in San Francisco? We're going to have about 20,000 people in the audience, and we bought a slot. We would like you to speak since you know what you're doing and we want to sell the product.
Mhm.
You've got it down. I said, yeah, just fly me and my family up and then done. So that was my first time flying with my kids and my wife on a plane. My daughter was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Mhm.
And my son doesn't remember. We go there. I do it, knock it out of the park. And then realtor.com's like, can you do this around the whole nation for us? And I'm like, sure, I can do that. Just
Mhm.
fly my family everywhere and,
Right.
give us a place to stay.
Make it a vacation.
Yeah. So my family got to travel all over the United States speaking for realtor.com while I was growing our business for real
That's awesome.
estate.
That's awesome.
And in one of those, well, this is kind of like those trips. Then we get part of becoming in the broker advisory board that they had. So you get to meet up all these amazing people. And in a few of those, I have two good stories for you. One, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, everybody in the real estate advisory board, we're going to go up to Facebook.
Mhm.
And so I go up to Facebook and we get to meet everybody. And in another session, we have that same Facebook guy who gave us the tour into Facebook sitting in the audience, and they're listening to me talking about Facebook lead ads at the time, brand new. And he's like, wow, I didn't know you did that. And you have this big Facebook group that you created called LabCoat Agents. Listen, can we fly you up to Palo Alto? We're looking to expand into real estate with lead ads, and we'd love to talk to you. Just pick your brain. So, yeah. So they fly me and my business partner up, and we talk, and they're like, listen, we're starting this whole new thing. We'd love for you to be on a board that we're creating right now for real estate advisory board for Facebook. And I'm like, I'm in.
Mhm.
So I consulted them for 4 years, Facebook and Instagram.
That's
And
cool.
I connected them to all of the big corporate names that you know.
Yeah.
So that's the other story that happened because of the saying yes to realtor.com.
That's awesome.
The other one was more of like, I missed an opportunity. So in the broker advisory board, we got to meet so many different people outside of real estate, but this one was in real estate. It was this guy named Glenn Sanford, just starting a company.
Heard of him.
He was starting we heard of him. He was just starting a company, and he's like, hey man, you've got this thing called lab coats, it's growing, and I've got this thing called EXP that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
I want it to grow, and I want to see if we can help each other out. I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing, dude. You're gonna go on a bus and tour around the whole nation and do this thing? I go, let's just stay friends. I don't get it. He's like, Tristan, I'll give you 1,000,000 shares right now if you just jump in and do this with me. Right. I'm like, dude, but
Oh
it's not
my
worth it.
goodness gracious. Really?
Yeah, I know, but 122 million.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, I don't think so. But let's stay friends. What's your cell?
Right.
So we became friends,
Yeah.
and we would text each other, call each other, and we still do, right? We're still good friends.
Yeah.
But that was one that it didn't align with what I thought was where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I've missed a few opportunities like that, but I've also teamed up with other opportunities that have been amazing, right? That's just a balance of both. But those are two stories that were fun.
So do you mind if I share something with you?
Mm,
So I told you that I owned a Keller Williams office for 18 years.
yes.
I met Glenn Sanford when he was the team leader at Bellingham.
That's funny.
I met him on the elevator at Mega Agent Camp in Austin. Nice guy, super nice guy. I mean, we only talked for a couple of minutes, where are you from, that kind of thing, right? And I really liked him. And now, fast forward all those years, I'm actually with EXP now. Go figure.
Dude, who knew, right? Who knows? Who
A
knows?
good buddy of mine ran one of the most successful Keller Williams offices nationwide. And he was the team leader for a number of years. And he and I became really good friends. And he ended up leaving and going to EXP to help run growth. And so for North America. And so that's kind of how I ended up. He's like, I need help. I'm like, I'm there. I'll help you.
What's his name?
Sean Patrick Murphy.
Oh yeah, I know
You
Sean.
know Sean? Yeah. Super good guy.
Yeah, he is a good dude.
That's a good group over there. I got a chance to meet Dave Kennard and talk with him, and
Dave's great.
good group. So
Mike Valdez is awesome.
yep, Mike Valdez.
Yeah, Leo. Dude, it's a great group, buddy. But all these opportunities come from what I've noticed is like the more often you say yes and then figure it out along the way. I think we're scared of saying yes and the commitment it takes sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And I think when you're younger, or you don't have a lot going on, saying yes is a superpower, right?
I totally agree. So let me
And
ask you a question.
shoot.
How did you come up with LabCoats as a Facebook group?
So it was in flight for realtor.com. In one of those flights, I was with my wife and I was like, hey, you know what? This realtor.com thing isn't going to last forever. I've seen this before with other companies where, yeah, I'm like their golden guy right now and they're quarterbacking us everywhere. But I want to start a blog and where we can just share all the questions that we get when I'm on stage and just have them go there. She's like, why don't you start a Facebook group? And I was like, a Facebook group? I'm not even on Facebook. So maybe for like a few months, I was like, blog, how do I do the blog?
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.